Hey, welcome back to BIZ Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager, and we've got a new guest, Nora. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Michael?
I am great, man. It's so great to meet you. So you help businesses work on their financials, correct?
Yes, I do.
So what are some of the most important things that business owners, I'm a guy, I'm a business coach, and I look at, gross profit. I think that's one of the main things that I look at my businesses with. If we can go ahead and grow gross profit, what are some things that business owners should be looking at and focusing on monthly so they can see that their business is actually moving in the right direction?
So the main thing is, like you said, like the gross profit. If they are working with accountant, they should actually determine like what is going to move the needle in their business and keep an eye on that. But to keep it simple for people, if they still do not have an accountant who help them more than a bookkeeping, then they should look at their sales, they should look at their expenses, keeping an eye on those and make sure they are profiting. And they have actually a profit margin. So they have to be able to calculate their profit margin. So that basically is just like their gross profit, like whatever the profit they're making, divide that by their revenue, and that should be their gross profit. They should have that align with other businesses in their area and their industry. They should make sure they're profiting. So this is the basic thing they have to be looking at. And of course, in order to do that, they have to have a good bookkeeping. Otherwise, they won't have an accurate number. So accurate data and accurate data out, of course. So this is the main thing. They should really focus on their revenue, their sales. This is the main target. If this is good and they're controlling their expenses, then they should be fine.
Yeah, they should be. And we see it all the time that business owners don't really know the difference between gross profit and net profit. And they don't realize that most small businesses only net profit 10%. They really struggle. They think they make a lot more money than they do. How do we help business owners really get into reality and really get in, check what they're really making?
So main thing I say to people, like, bookkeeping is not actually luxury. It's a compliance work. So you have to do it. You have to budget for that. You have to use a professional in order to actually know what you're making. Because yeah, I know a lot of people mistakenly thinking like any sale they make, this is the money, but they forget about expenses they have. They forget about if they're selling product, they forget about like, okay, how much did you pay for that product? And if they have service, like they forget like, okay, what software did you use? Did you hire someone to do it? How much did you have to pay to keep your lights on? Even if you're working from home, you still acquire some expenses. So they forget about these stuff and they think if they make $100 in sales, that's their profit. And it's not. Actually, they have to make sure they deduct everything that they expense, and this is where where the importance of bookkeeping comes from. You have to do your bookkeeping and make sure you monitor that. And also, when they report their taxes, when they're paying like estimated taxes or state taxes, sometimes they pay on their revenue, their entire revenue, and this is incorrect as well. They have to really do the bookkeeping in order to do everything correctly. This is the only time you can know, okay, how much exactly you spent. I've been working with a lot of people. When they first come, they say, oh, okay, I have everything recorded in my bank statement. I can go back and see how much I spent. It's like, no, no, no. Your bank statement is not your bookkeeping. How many times you go back into your bank statement and see, what was this charge for? I don't remember. It's not bookkeeping. It's not a bookkeeping system. It's a good thing like they have everything for you, so you can transfer that to your software and don't miss anything. But this is not bookkeeping. You have to do your bookkeeping. You have to generate good financial statements in order to see the revenue. Then you see like how much did it cost you in order to make that revenue, deduct that, and then from there you get your profits.
Right. So one of the things we got to look at is, small business owners, we really got to look at cash flow. And cash flow is really important because it helps us make decisions. How does, the bookkeeping side of the business help us predict future cash flow? And so we can say, hey, I've got to hire a new employee, or I need to buy some new machinery. How can my relationship with my bookkeeper help me, make those decisions?
So this is actually where you have to do like an entire separate report for cash flow. And with cash flow, I like to monitor that daily because you never know like what happens every day, something new. Like to start with, I would start with a budget. You have a budget, you monitor everything with the budget, you monitor your expenses, you monitor your income, and then you check that daily. The minimum you have to check that is on a weekly basis to check out like how well you did for last week and then how are you going to handle next week. And in order to know like if you can hire an employee or if you can make an investment for anything in your business, you really have to plan long term. See how much sales are you expecting, how much in reserve do you have, like, and you really have to budget ahead of time. You have to have at least 3 to 6 months for, to cover that expense before you really start with it. And if we're talking about hiring an employee, you want to make sure that you actually have all the expenses. You're going to have payroll expenses. You're going to have sometimes to do BTO. It depends on what industry you are in and if it's an employee or independent contractor, of course, but you need to make sure to capture all the costs that you have to put down, because a lot of people thinking, okay, if I'm paying that person $1,000, that's it, but it's not that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
things
it's
that
more
it
than
comes in.
that.
Yeah, when you start going there, my favorite is people are like, oh, I'm just going to 1099, I'm going to do this, and we got to come up with all those things. So we've only got about 2 minutes left. These go fast. Your first time here, it goes fast. So if people want to get together with you and talk to you about their bookkeeping, how do they get a hold of you?
So they usually book a call with me at Nourasbooks.com. That's my website. And they go to contact us, and from contact us, this is my calendar, and they can book a call with me there.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. And I like on your website, you're talking about a CFO. I get it all the time when I ask my business owners, where do you take your financial information from? And they say a CPA. And I go, man, they're looking behind. CFO is looking forward. You've got to know the difference between the two. And you can get in a lot of trouble if you don't, have the right people looking for you. So I love that you're going out there and you're helping people with that, Noura. So I'm really looking forward to get to know you more, bring in some more tips and things and tricks for people to make sure that we pay the minimum amount of tax, take home the most amount of money, and help business owners have a really healthy and profitable life. So thanks a lot for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, looking forward to next time. This is Michael Rager, your business guide. We're going to be back with more Biz Talk TV here on Now Media Television right after this.